Yeah, let's not get it twisted. This was the 101 matchup right here. So,
All right, what's going on, guys? We got another episode of Bropinions coming at you. Today we're sticking to our Thursday episodes. A little weird. Still no Georgia 3. He's still in Scotland having a blast over there. So it's just me and my boy John the Stone.
yeah, no word from Georgia. He may, or I mean, last I heard he was in Amsterdam. So there's a good chance we won't see him ever again. So,
Yeah, he may have been kidnapped and smuggled somewhere. We have no idea. Haven't heard from him in days. I'm sure he's trying to avoid those roaming charges. That's probably what I assume. But hoping he's out there, he's safe. Wishing him safe travels and fun. But we don't know. That is legitimately true. Horrible things could be happening right now.
100% true. We have no clue what his status is right now. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. So today we've got a very special one. We're gonna break off a little bit from our draft style. We're gonna break off a little bit from our, picking a music festival style. Today we're going for a bracketed tournament. Now, obviously it's March, so this one's not necessarily topical. But I guess you could apply it to Easter in a month. So
I mean, March Madness bracket. This is a bracket.
This is a bracket. Yeah, so we're going. Hey, maybe we go brackets all March long. You never know. But this is going to be a bracket for the worst Halloween candies, and we're talking the worst of the worst. We're talking the grossest things you do not want to see in your Halloween baskets when you were a kid. The things that you traded away immediately when you got home.
If you could trade them away. I mean, these are the things that
right.
These are the things that when you saw people grab these to put them in your bag, you almost wanted to just pull your bag back and be like, "No, I'm good."
Yeah, these are the candies that you're like, okay, this is the house I'm going to remember not to go to next year.
100%.
These are the houses that I'm not going to next year.
Yeah, not the number one thing you were looking for, right? Was the king size candy bar house. If you could find that, then that was the first stop every year. But yeah, these 100%. Are the houses that not the toothbrushes, like the toothbrush house or the apple house. This is in that same vein.
We skipped those houses in this house. We skipped those houses.
Right. So like you said, it is March, but we brackets all month. It's not a bad idea. We'll probably do that.
Yeah, sounds good.
The worst Halloween candy. So we have got 16 candies here that we are going to run through. We randomized, threw them in a bracket. We're going to go through each pairing one by one, figure out which is the worst until we finally end up with the ultimate worst Halloween candy, at least according to us here at Bropinions. So,
and these have been randomly seeded, it appears. These don't seem to be placed in any particular order, so it's not going to be like, you've got the number 1 seed versus the number 16. This is just going to be crappy candy versus crappy candy at the end of the day.
Yep, yeah, 100%. So let's go ahead and dive right into our first matchup of the worst Halloween candy. We got Tootsie Rolls versus the grandma candies. I'm actually kind of quote unquote grandma candies. Those are like the hard candies that you find in your grandma's purse, right? Like the little butterscotches, the caramels, that weird one that looks like a strawberry. Yeah, with like the
hey, that strawberry one's kind of fire though. I can't lie. That one. It's got the jelly in the middle. That one's kind of heat. I ain't gonna lie. But.
So full disclosure, we came up with some of these on our own, and then we pulled the rest from a list. So this is actually kind of a tough one because I personally don't mind either of these. Like, I'm never going to go to the store and buy them. Like, if I see them, I'm not going to be super excited, but I'm also not going to throw them away, right?
Yeah. Yeah, these are definitely ones that it's like, we're definitely starting a little easy here. These are like, we're just sort of getting our toes wet. These are definitely not the worst we're going to get into.
Not at all.
If I'm going between the two, I mean, I can't say that I've ever really enjoyed a Tootsie Roll. It has never been an experience of like, I put this in my mouth and go, that's delicious. It's all right. It's better than nothing,
Right.
And as a grandmother, as a guy who had a I'm not a grandmother, obviously, but as a guy who had a grandmother, see, me and Drew had the same grandma, so when he talks about our grandma, for those listening, That's who he's talking about. He's talking about our grandmother. She used to have a bowl in her house, right? That had hard candies in it that probably never changed throughout the course of my entire lifetime, and that nobody ever ate, right? She would always have like Werther's Originals and like, you know, the little cream, whatever they were, and the cream savers in her purse and shit like that. So it's like I kind of have a little affinity for them because that was kind of like my little church snack, but dude, I've never really enjoyed a Tootsie Roll.
Absolutely. Grandma candies were definitely church snacks because it's the thing where you're like, I'm so bored and I'm hungry.
So bored. You need literally any kind of sensory experience that's not church.
And your grandma pulls one of these out, hands it to you, and is like, "Here, be quiet and sit still for the rest of this sermon or whatever," you know. So I mean, I kind of lean the same way. I agree with Tootsie Rolls. I enjoy Tootsie Rolls, but again, you know, like I've never gone to the store, saw a bag of Tootsie Rolls, and be like, "Oh, I need these."
Ooh, I need some Tootsie Rolls. I mean, it's like, I don't know. I like the taste of hard candy, and it's not necessarily like I dislike the taste of Tootsie Rolls. It is kind of one of those things. It's like it'll be the last Halloween candy I eat, right? That's the cutoff. Like Tootsie Rolls, the worst edible, like the worst actually edible Halloween candy, but. If I'm voting, I'm moving Tootsie Rolls on. I think the hard candies, they're old. They definitely have a generational sort of appeal, and I think they'll die out in our lifetime probably. Yeah. But at least they taste good. At the end of the day, at least they taste decent.
Right. No, for sure. There's definitely some things on this list that do not taste decent at all. So
yeah, Tootsie Rolls just leave you wanting chocolate. You eat a Tootsie Roll, you're like, I would have just rather had any kind of chocolate. Even a Hershey's bar is better than this.
Yeah, no, 100% agree. So yeah, we'll move Tootsie Rolls on.
All right, moving Tootsie Rolls on. Next up, we got a real stinker. Couple real stinkers, in my opinion. Two candies I do not like. Not just candies that at least they taste good. They could be worse. These suck. We've got Good and Plenty, which is. I mean, it's like if you took Mike and Ike's, but in the formula you added super glue. I think is really how you get the Good and Plenties. And then you've got Smarties.
Ugh.
Now, personally, if I'm having to pick which one of these is worse, personally, I'm gonna say Good and Plenty, because I think there's a reason they're named Good and Plenty is because there's gonna be plenty of them left. Right.
Right.
I don't think the word good is appropriate in this context because they taste terrible. They stick to your teeth. I mean, it's like if you want a trip to the dentist, Good and Plenty's is the way to do it. That's a smart way to do it. You want to build cavities, wonderful idea. Smarties, on the other hand, if you enjoy what you imagine chalk sticks would taste like,
yeah, right.
I think that's Smarties.
Good and Plenty. I mean, it's a licorice candy. It's like you took Mike and Ike's and just took all of the flavor and everything like good out of them and just replaced it with licorice. So Smarties, I mean, I'm not the biggest Smarties fan. I mean, it was cool when you were a kid, you know, like turning it into dust, pretend you were like smoking a cigarette. Yeah, exactly. So I mean, but I mean the actual, I mean, it's just chalk. It's just like sour chalk. I absolutely despise licorice, so that's probably I'm going to be a little biased here, but yeah, I think I'm going to move Good and Plenty on.
Oh, I totally agree. Yeah, Good and Plenty is definitely worse than Smarties to me. I think, you know, it's like Smarties texturally they're terrible. Taste-wise, they're not that great, but it's like at least the taste-wise is not necessarily like horrible. If you're a black or licorice kind of person, to each their own, good for you. I'm not. They taste awful to me, and I'm not a fan of that. I don't like the taste of licorice. Like you said, Good and Plenty is just that, but sticky. I mean, it's the worst version of one of the worst things. Good and Plenty has to move on for me.
Yeah, we'll move that on, and having some trouble updating the bracket here, but we'll get that sorted. But yeah, no, I 100% agree. Good and Plenty is much worse than Smarties.
All right, so we've got our first two matchups done. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one. This one is, I think this one might be our most controversial matchup from the first round. We got Dum Dums versus Pixie Sticks. Two
Yeah.
very similar candies. I mean, obviously two very different things, but it's in terms of flavor profiles, they taste pretty similar.
Yeah. Well, and for clarification's sake, Dum Dums are the little lollipops, right?
Suckers, yeah.
Like you get at the doctor's office, or actually, no, the doctor's office. You know, it's like the flat ones. That
Yeah,
you
the
take a
circle
plastic out.
lollipops. Yeah,
right.
those are better than Dum Dums.
Yeah, those are better than
Yeah, those are
Dum Dums.
better than Dum Dums.
Those actually have some flavor.
Right.
By the way, is there any lollipop worse than the root beer flavored Dum Dum?
See, I don't know that I've ever had it because I hate root beer in general, so I probably agree with you that it might be the worst. I mean, I don't know. Those mystery ones are real hit or miss as far as Dum Dums are concerned. I mean, some taste really good, and then some taste like the bottom of a factory floor. So it's like, it's real hit or miss. And hey, look, Dum Dums do have a flavor, but it is not the flavor that they put on the wrapper.
No.
None of their things taste anything like what it's supposed to taste like.
It's like the Bean Boozled challenge, but like all the wrappers got mixed up, or like all the flavors on the box are just all jumbled up. You never know.
But the colors are right. But the
Right.
colors match. It just tastes like crap.
Yeah. And then again, to clarify, the pixie sticks, we're not talking about the big giant ones, right? Because they made them. They were like 2 feet long.
Right.
So we're talking like the little like paper straw looking ones. So like just enough straight sugar mixed with
Yeah.
some sour mess.
Yeah, just enough straight sugar to give you that bump to get you through the day.
It's a little bump of sugar to get you through the day, and just completely dry your mouth out.
I gotta be honest. I don't like Dum Dums. I hate pixie sticks. I cannot stand. I don't like like the texture of pouring sand into my mouth. Personally, that doesn't appeal to me.
You're not a fan of that?
No, not at all. It's rough, it's coarse, it gets everywhere. Like Anakin said, bro, sand is awful. We hate sand. The flavor of pixie sticks is fine. I've never been opposed to the flavor, but it's like it's so boring.
Right.
I mean, it's like there's no cool colors. There's no like difference really between any of the flavors. They all kind of taste just like sour sweet. That's just sort of what it is. There's nothing there. It's like, at least with a Dum Dum, you get some longevity. You get to have the cool stick hanging out of your mouth, so you can pretend like you're smoking again as a kid. For whatever reason, kids think smoking is so cool.
Hey, when we were kids, that was the thing, and then the Dare Dog came by and was like, "No, it's not." And you're like, "Oh yeah, you're right, it's not."
I think we as a generation collectively have failed the Dare program.
Probably so.
Probably. But yeah, if I'm moving anything on, it's got to be Pixie Sticks. Pixie Sticks, in my opinion, is one of the worst candies of all time. I hate Pixie Sticks. It's just one of those things that it's like I never enjoyed. I never got behind it. It's just like there's much tastier, more interesting candies to choose from.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the fence here. I think they're both awful, but
Hey,
yeah,
they both suck.
Yeah, they both suck.
No doubt.
But I will give the edge to Pixie Sticks because like you said, it's like pouring sand in your mouth. It just dries your mouth completely out.
Right.
So yeah, we'll move that on and concede Dum Dums while they still suck. They are not worse than Pixie Sticks. So.
And
All
our
right.
next matchup. You
Yeah,
want to go ahead
next-
and introduce that one? We got another couple turds.
Yeah. This is whose idea was this? This is awful.
Terrible list.
This is
Absolutely
terrible.
list.
Our next matchup here, we got fireballs. So little atomic fireballs, spicy cinnamon candy, which I'm not a fan of spicy cinnamon candy personally. But then wax cola bottles. I can't honestly say. I probably had one, and then I was like, "This is awful," and I vowed to never have one again.
The wax cola bottles, look, I don't even consider them candy. They may legitimately be just one of the nastiest things ever invented in general. I mean, they're right up there with a couple more on this list. We'll talk about them later. They suck. They are so gross. There's no redeeming qualities about them. And look, I am a notorious cinnamon candy hater. Can't stand it. It's also one of my least favorite flavors to exist. But I would suck on a whole pack of Red Hots before I decided to eat another wax bottle of Coca-Cola. Those are nasty.
Yeah.
They're so gross. And then it's like you're not even eating it. You can't eat it.
No, yeah,
It's
I mean,
wax.
because it's wax. Like I've never ever understood the whole wax candy concept. Like it's wax, you know? Like
It's
what are we
inedible. It's
doing?
literally inedible. Like you can't eat this. It's like, oh, we're gonna take this chocolate crunch ball and we're gonna dip it in molten plastic. You guys love that, right?
Yeah, because that's got to be healthy for you, right?
Yeah, it's like Kinder eggs are banned, but somehow we've got these demonic wax bottles.
Give me a Kinder egg any day.
I'd rather choke to death on a Kinder toy than another one of
Eat
those.
these wax cola bottles. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a fan of cinnamon. I don't dislike it as much as you do. But yeah, I mean, the wax cola bottles just inedible. You can't even like. There's no flavor to them. If you even could eat them anyway, which you can't. So yeah, we'll move wax cola bottles on. This next one though, this might be my
This
might be the one I think is going to win this whole thing.
Oh,
this next
maybe.
one.
maybe.
So we got Double Bubble, which is not what I'm referring to. And we also going up against Necco wafers. Now, if you don't know what Necco wafers are,
If you have never had the misfortune
yeah, consider yourself lucky if you don't know what
of
Necco
trying a
wafers
Necco
are.
wafer,
It is a little pack like this. They call them wafers, but they almost look like poker chips, which is about what they taste like. And it is.
Yes.
It's just like these little chalky discs that have like no flavor to them. It's like if you took every pastel color and tried to put a flavor to it and then turned it into chalk and then made it into a chip, like a disc. And that's Necco wafers. Absolutely horrible. To me, this is not even a contest. I would much rather have Double Bubble, even though the flavor only lasts for like 30 seconds.
18 seconds. Yeah.
Yeah, you get like one good bubble maybe, and then you're done. Yeah, Necco wafers are the absolute worst.
Yeah, this is a clear landslide. This is a number one contender going against a 16 seed. This is an absolute decimation as far as the tournament is concerned. But like I said, if you've never had the misfortune of eating Necco wafers,
Right.
count your lucky stars. I mean, it's legitimately like if you took a pack of colored pencils and you stood them long ways and then crushed them with a hydraulic press and then just ate the little flat pieces that came out. It tastes like wood and artificial colors. Like it's so bad and so nasty. There's a reason they're not ubiquitous. There's a reason they're not popular anymore. There's a reason nobody eats them. They're gross. They're awful. Don't even really have to talk about Double Bubble in this instance because it's chewing gum. Chewing gum is good. If you like gum, you like gum.
Yeah, well, I was a little confused, honestly, when we looked up this list because it had Double Bubble on there. And then another list had like the Bazooka Bubblegum, which, if you don't remember that...
Bazooka's way better than Double Bubble. I'm sorry, but that's just fact.
Well, and you got a little, comic you could read, right?
Right.
For those,
way cool,
those
super cool packaging.
Yeah, I mean, for those who are unaware or don't, have extensive knowledge of candy, like apparently Nikki P and I do, Bazooka Bubblegum came in a pack, but it was Bazooka Joe was the comic, and you got the Bazooka Joe comic on the Bazooka Bubblegum wrappers. But yeah, anyway, we can move on. Necco wafers, 100% wins this.
Yeah, I put in Nerds over Double Bubble personally. Nerds are crap. nerds would have stood a better chance against Necco wafers than Double Bubble.
Hey, there we go. I finally got an update. All right. All right. You want to take us into our next one there?
Yeah. So we're just gonna go straight into it. I think we've already touched on this, and I think it's gonna be clear who will win this one. I think we're going Raisinets. Now I don't want to gloss over when I say that our next one is black licorice, right? But I don't want to gloss over how bad Raisinets actually are.
Yeah.
Listen, because
we'll spend some in-depth analysis on both of these.
Listen, because black licorice is disgusting. It's obviously probably what we're going to move on. It's horrible. It tastes like feet and onions, like disgusting. It's awful. It's one of the worst flavors in human history, in my opinion. But Raisinets suck. Raisinets are one of those candies. It's like, oh god, all we have is Raisinets. I don't understand the appeal. I know, like, my dad loved Raisinets growing. Like, that was his candy. And I'm like, why?
It's barely even a
You've got-
candy.
You've got Crunch. I mean, it's like it's at a movie theater mostly. Like, you mostly get Raisinets at a movie theater, and it's like typically you've got some sort of chocolate covered peanut there, which is infinitely better than a chocolate covered raisin.
Or the little like chocolate covered cookie dough things.
Cookie dough bites. Yeah, you got Bunch of Crunch. I mean, Raisinets was just a head scratcher to me. It always was. It's just like I don't mind raisins, but it's like chocolate covered raisins are kind of gross. It's weird. It's nasty, and it's like I don't want fruit when I'm eating candy. Just give me sweet. That's all I want is sugar. I want nougat, caramel.
Yeah,
some kind of peanuts or something.
Right. Side note: favorite movie theater candy. Go.
I mean, it changes because I used to work at a movie theater. I mean, it was Bunch of Crunch for a long time.
Oh, I forgot you did work at a movie theater. Yeah.
Yeah, it was Bunch of Crunch for a long time. Then there was these Nerd sour ropes.
Yeah, those are
those little gummy ropes. God,
you know my favorite.
So much.
They don't make them anymore. But do you remember the Butterfinger BBs? Dude, those were so good.
Elite, bro. Elite. See, the best thing about it was I used to work at the movie theater, right? And there was a Walmart like spitting distance from the theater. That Walmart they sold in like big, massive tubs movie theater candy, exactly the same candy we sold for like 70 cents a box. So it was like you could just since we worked there, nobody was gonna get mad at us for sneaking candy in. So we would just run over to the Walmart real quick and grab a bunch of candy for way cheaper, and then go into the movie and enjoy it.
Yeah, no, that's pro strat. I was always the one that you probably were looking out for because I was always sneaking just 5 boxes of Butterfinger BBs into the movie theater. So
I'm gonna say a tidbit, and this is gonna be big movie might come for me. Big cinema might come and take me out for revealing this information.
Big theater.
Yeah, big theater. Big stage. They're gonna come. Nobody at a theater gets paid enough to care if you sneak stuff in. As long as you're not obvious about it,
right?
Nobody cares. Nobody gives a crap. Nobody's gonna enforce that. I mean, you may get Johnny Law at one random theater who's like, "Hey, you're not allowed to." But more often than not, they don't care. They don't care.
And at worst, I mean, like, if you did catch somebody, what'd you make them do? Like, throw it away? So I mean, at worst, if you buy like 4 or 5 boxes, you're out like less than $5. So I mean,
admittedly, we just wouldn't say anything. Yeah. It was never. I mean, it was never a problem. I mean, realistically, the only time anybody ever got in trouble for something concession related was there was a guy who tried to steal drinks out of our machine once, and we kicked him out of the theater. But other than that, like I've seen literally people with stuff in their jacket pockets, and I've just let them walk on in. I don't care. Yeah. Like nobody cares. They didn't care then. They don't care now. I promise you, they're not getting paid enough to give a shit.
Well, that's way across the line too. Like, let me steal some of your drinks. Like, no, if you bring your own, like, I don't care. You know?
No, I mean literally, that same guy would come to the theater and he would because we would give free refills on certain popcorns. He would steal bags out of the trash and have us and make popcorns with those. And it's like they even let him slide doing that. But you stole the drinks, bro. You crossed the line. It's time to go.
I mean, I guess if you're willing to eat trash corn, then
trash corn. Yeah, somebody else's trash corn too. That's the worst part about it. It was.
All right. Well, yeah. Back on topic here. We're agreed.
Black licorice moves on.
As much as Raisinets suck, black licorice is still. I mean, we just spent a good few minutes talking about how bad Raisinets were, and black licorice is still moving on. So yeah, let's not miss that.
Yeah, just because you're the worst movie theater snack does not mean you're worse than black licorice. That's the point, moral of the story.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, dried up grapes, lightly dipped in chocolate, is still better than black licorice. Black licorice, jeez. Okay, next one. We got another cinnamon candy here, and quite possibly the most polarizing Halloween candy on this list. But we got hot tamales going up against candy corn. Now, I know there are people out there that are absolutely infatuated with candy corn. And I got to be honest, I am not one of them. I do not get it at all. Let's take sugar and food dye, mix it all together, and somehow make it taste bad. And that's candy corn.
And shape it like corn.
Yeah. Why corn? I mean, was it like a Thanksgiving thing? Was it a play on that?
I just can't imagine somebody taking a bite of an ear of corn and going, you know what? This needs to be sweeter. This needs to taste sweet. This needs to be a dessert.
Although I will say the shape doesn't matter because we almost had the little pumpkin candy corn things on here too, and those are still just as awful. So, yeah.
It doesn't matter in what quantity they want to make this. Whatever flavor combination profile this is gross.
Yeah.
Look, I know plenty of people. My D&D group is filled with a bunch of guys we both used to work with, a bunch of people we both used to work with, guys and girls, and they love that stuff. Eddie, JR, they love it. There was one D&D Scott, yeah, Scott too. They love it, bro. And I'm sitting there going, this is gross. Y'all are sitting here munching on candy corn. Oh man, and it was like they just kept eating it, and it's like I was like, maybe I'm wrong, right? Maybe I'm wrong. And this was a few months ago. This was during Halloween season, so I was like, maybe I'm wrong. And so I grabbed a handful and I ate one. And I was like, that's pretty fucking disgusting. That's pretty gross.
And
that's pretty gross.
That to me is one of the things that makes candy corn the worst. One of the worst. Because, and I'm guilty of this myself, it's like every year it comes around and you're like, oh yeah, like candy corn. It has that like kind of, it's associated with like Halloween, obviously, fall, that time of year. And you see it a bunch of places. Well, maybe not a bunch after like COVID and everything, but before,
right.
You just saw like dishes of it everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things that every year you go and you try some, and you're like, maybe this isn't as bad as I remember. And then every time,
maybe let me give it another chance.
Yeah. And then every time you're like, oh, this is really bad. This is still bad.
Every time you're like, this just wasn't what I thought it would be.
Yeah, and I think it was Lewis Black, the comedian, that made basically that same joke about that. But yeah, I mean, it's like, if you want to give it a chance every year. And so I say candy corn moves on from this because not only is it trash, but it can somehow keep sucking you back in to experience the trash over and over again. And then hot tamales, I mean, I don't mind hot tamales. Again, we kind of talked about cinnamon candy already with fireballs. It's basically just like a gummy version of a fireball. I'm much more opposed to candy corn than I am to hot tamales.
See, I'm in a tough spot, man, because it's like I'm kind of on the fence because it's like my soul is going to hurt if I let both cinnamon candies slide. Because I have to iterate how much I cannot stand cinnamon candy. I got a buddy of mine, he loves them, and power to him, if he wants to eat them, then that's fine, but they are so gross. It's like I can't imagine popping a candy in my mouth and then enjoying it as it starts to burn in my mouth. It's never good. At least I think with candy corn, you're willing to go back. With like hot tamales, I ate that candy one time like 10 years ago. I'm never eating it again. I know that candy is not for me. At least the taste of candy corn, it's not a flavor that's like, oh, this is revolting. Because I can eat a candy corn and be like, okay, I can see why somebody likes this. A hot tamale, I can't finish. They're gross.
Yeah, see, that's... Oh, man, this is going to be our first disagreement because... I don't know.
I have to just flip a coin or do a random number generator, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't mind hot tamales, yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna... Alright, yeah, we're gonna be split decision on this. Let me go to our wheel here, and we'll pick which one moves. Actually, you know what? No, we'll still do it that way.
I'm cool either way. I mean, candy corn sucks, so it's like I'm not gonna be hurt about it.
I just
can't let cinnamon slide like that. You know what I mean?
I was gonna say I'll concede because you made a good point about how you keep coming back to candy corn, but I don't know. It's just like you keep coming back to it. It's still just so gross. So
I know. It's disappointing to eat every time, But it's also like, at least you will consider eating it again. Like, for me, tamales is just like, or hot tamales, the candy, like the food tamales. I'll eat those happily. But hot tamales, the candy.
Actual tamales, yeah, 100%. Yeah,
yeah, we're getting down. But hot tamales, I mean, they're not worse than fireballs. I'll say fireballs are much worse than hot tamales. But they both suck to me. I hate cinnamon candies. Let's just spin it. Let's just spin it. I can't move on.
I did spin it and I picked candy corn.
That's fine.
However, I can't get past the fact that you made a good point that you keep getting sucked in by candy corn. So we'll move hot tamales on.
Yeah, candy corn, it just has that weird.
It just sucks you in, and every
time you think you're out, it pulls you back in.
All right.
Every time I think I'm out, they pull me back in.
Pull me back in. Damn you, candy corn. All right, move on to our last match here.
This is another landslide.
Yeah. Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
we've got Circus Peanuts versus Almond Joy.
Yeah, Circus Peanuts versus Almond Joy / Mounds. We grouped those two together because it's basically the same thing. One, if you don't know the difference, Mounds is, so both have like this coconut center. Mounds is dark chocolate, Almond Joy is milk chocolate, and they also put an almond on top of the coconut. I personally actually enjoy Almond Joy. Mounds I think is trash, but that's because I don't like dark chocolate. So really to me, this is Circus Peanuts versus Mounds. I will still eat Mounds. Circus Peanuts, you could not pay me enough money to eat Circus Peanuts.
If there is anything that can challenge Necco wafers in this bracket, it's Circus Peanuts. Circus Peanuts are one of the most horrible things from a texture standpoint, from a flavor standpoint, from a smell standpoint. They even smell gross.
They do.
Like Circus Peanuts stink, dude. I mean, it's like when somebody opens a bag in a room, it's like, oh god.
You know.
Somebody opens Circus Peanuts. Why do you have those?
Yeah, and if you don't know what we're talking about, Circus Peanuts are peanut-shaped marshmallow candy that actually date back to the 19th century. It was one of the original penny candies, as they call it. I don't care.
And they taste like banana.
Yeah, I don't care how
the worst candy flavor, period.
I don't care how old or historical it is. It is god-awful. How it's made it this long, I do not understand. Are there people out there that actually buy and enjoy Circus Peanuts? Like, I just can't fathom it. I can't fathom being in a store, seeing Circus Peanuts and be like, oh yeah, let's get some of those, you know?
I think the only person who could have the frame of mind or the frame of reference to enjoy Circus Peanuts would probably be a carny that is like addicted to meth or something. You know, somebody who's like, you know, all I can afford as far as candy goes is Circus Peanuts. I legitimately do not know at least with candy corn, it's got a cult following. I don't know a single soul individual on the internet I've even seen that enjoys Circus Peanuts. I don't know a single human being who enjoys that candy. I've never met them, never heard them speak, never seen them on YouTube. Don't know them. They're horrible. I mean, look, Almond Joys are kind of good. Like I would low-key happily eat an Almond Joy. Yeah. I mean, it's sort of polarizing because a lot of people hate coconut.
Yeah.
I'm not one of those people. I love coconut. I love almonds.
Yeah,
I love chocolate. I'll tear down an Almond Joy, especially over a Circus Peanut. There's no competition.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, we can go ahead and move on. Circus Peanuts moves on, and I want an Almond Joy now. So, all right. So
now we're on the Elite Eight.
Yeah, we're
Elite Eight.
Second round here, so let's go back up to the top. We got Tootsie Rolls versus Good and Plenty. I absolutely despise it. So I will give this to Tootsie Rolls. They're at least remotely chocolate flavored, right? So that's a plus. Good and Plenty is just licorice, and I cannot stand the taste of licorice. It's the worst. I don't understand how people like it. So to me, the clear choice here is Good and Plenty.
Absolutely. I'm with you 100%. Don't even need to say anything else. I mean, look, Tootsie Rolls, like I said, you know, I've never necessarily enjoyed a Tootsie Roll, but I've never been mad that I was eating a Tootsie Roll. Every time I've ever put a Good and Plenty in my mouth, I have been like, this was a mistake. I should not have done this. This was a bad idea. Moving on.
Immediately regret this decision.
Now, next up, we got two that I regret immediately putting in my mouth. We got Pixie Sticks and Wax Cola bottles. Now, look, I don't like sand in my mouth, but I'd much rather take it over wax. I don't like eating candles. The Wax Coke bottles are so bad, man. They're just so gross. They cannot be understated how unpleasant it is to bite into a candle to eat what you think is candy, right? What you think is candy, and then you're like, what even is this?
Yeah, I'm gonna agree. We don't even have to talk about it anymore. Wax Cola bottles. Moving on. I'd rather eat sand. 100%.
Literally.
Like real sand, not Pixie Sticks.
Yeah, no, I'd rather eat real sand. Yeah.
All right,
Necco from like Panama City Beach sand too, like not nice sand.
Yeah, right. Like after spring break, Panama City Beach sand.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, this is another heavyweight bout here. We got Necco wafers versus black licorice, two of the worst flavors of all time.
That's a tough one. That's a real tough one. Now that I'm thinking about it, that's really tough. Because I gotta admit, I hate the taste of black licorice more, but Necco wafers are also pretty bad as far as a textural standpoint. Like, the texture is really rough.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I think we're gonna have to start thinking about this a little more analytically. Yes, the taste of black licorice is awful. Any licorice, really. But at least the texture, it has kind of that gummy texture, that's not...
it's got a nice mouthfeel, it just tastes horrible. A Necco wafer is like...
Necco wafers don't taste like anything, but then again, it's like eating poker chips. It's like eating chalk. The texture is just bad, so yeah, I think I gotta move on. I gotta move Necco wafers on, as much as I hate licorice.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think, I honestly think that Good and Plenty's are worse than regular black licorice. So it's like, I feel like that's gonna even give a Necco wafers a run for their money. So I think we can let black licorice lose here, and move Necco wafers on.
Yeah,
and that moves us to our final one: hot tamales and circus peanuts. I think, as much as I hate cinnamon candy, right? I would rather put a whole box of hot tamales and a whole box of Red Hots in my mouth at the same time while chewing an entire pack of Big Red chewing gum. Then eat one circus peanut. I mean, we were talking about sand. I would. There's a lot of things I would rather eat than a circus peanut.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with you there. I didn't hate the cinnamon candies as much as you, so yeah, this is easily circus peanuts. Moving on here.
Yeah, easy final four. Here we go.
All right, it's gonna get a little rough here. Final four, first matchup. We got Good and Plenty's versus Wax Cola bottles.
We're really in the thick of it now. Those are both bad. Those are both bad.
All of these are really bad. Oh man. So really, I guess this boils down to...
I have my answer and I have a way, but I'll let you take the floor so that I'll finish out with the closing arguments.
I mean, I guess to me, this boils down to, if I am being forced to eat one of these, which would I rather eat? Because that's where we're at, right? Nobody's going out and willingly getting these candies. So, if you have to eat one of these, which would you rather eat?
Right.
And I think, to me, I would rather eat Good and Plenty's if I'm being forced to. As much as I hate licorice, the Wax Cola bottle, I just cannot get over this gross, nasty texture of it. Like you said, it's like eating a candle. So, what's your answer, and what's your counterpoint here?
Now, as much as I hate the wax bottles, right? Absolutely despise them. I'm actually going to take an opposite stance here. Now, I'm going to say there's only one reason. As far as taste goes, I think these are both equally pretty bad.
Right.
Black licorice is awful. The wax bottles, they don't taste good, even the candy part, but then it's also like you're having to taste wax that you bite into. It's weird in your teeth. It doesn't feel good to bite into. It's strange, but you can spit out the Wax Coke bottles. When that Good and Plenty gets stuck to your teeth, when that Good and Plenty adheres to your bicuspids, you're not getting that stuff off. It is not going away. It is stuck there, and you're gonna have to wait till your saliva dissolves it, because it's not coming out from between your teeth, and you're gonna have to taste it. Like, the commitment to the good and plenty is what stands me off. Because at least with the wax Coke bottle, you could bite it, spit it out, it's done. But that good and plenty, one bite, it's there for you're in that battle for 8 rounds, brother. That's the whole 9 yards.
I had not considered that, and you are 100% right. Good and plenty, yeah, it sticks with you, and you can't get rid of it. Yeah, literally it sticks with you.
It's like Mike and Ike's, man. They just they get stuck onto your teeth.
Yeah, God, yeah. All right, good and plenty.
And you're stuck. Yeah. I'm gonna throw up by the end of this. All right, now we got the final round. This is like number 1 versus number 2. This is Necco wafers versus Circus Peanuts, bro.
Yeah,
we're talking about the worst of the worst. Neither of them are good taste wise. They're both awful as far as texture is concerned. I'm so up in the air with this one. I have no idea which one I think would be worse.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely like whichever one wins here. I think is obviously gonna oust Good and Plenty. So this is it right here. This is for the number 1 worst Halloween candy. I don't know, man. So all right, so I mean, you have 2 different textures here, right? Like the taste of both is awful, right? You have like the banana, like marshmallowy kind of flavor, and then
it's the artificial banana too. It's like the Runts banana. It's like the Laffy Taffy banana, bro. I'm legitimately gonna gag thinking about a circus peanut, brother. That almost got me, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
The Runts almost got me because I hadn't even thought about Runts in years, and then you said that, and I immediately I
they should have been on this list.
That little fake banana and how awful it is.
On this list.
And just how gritty Runts are. Oh, God. Okay, so Necco wafers and circus peanuts both taste awful. So really, this is about what texture do you prefer? Do you want to chew on poker chips / chalk dust, or do you want to chew on a artificial banana tasting marshmallow peanut?
Yeah, are you interested in eating a banana flavored cloud, or are you interested in eating a wooden disc of no flavor?
I will say, I think if I have to choose between these 2, I think
every time I get to that point, I just can't choose one, bro.
I know.
It's like every time I think about biting into a circus peanut, it's just like, I don't want to do that. And then it's, I mean, the only thing that I'm going back and forth between is like a Necco wafer is like that big. They're really small. They're nowhere near the size of a circus peanut. So even at the very worst, you could just swallow it whole. Yeah. A circus peanut, you're gonna have to chew through that thing. And it's like, I don't know, if anybody out there, if you've never had a circus peanut, it's like, take the worst marshmallow you've ever had. And I'm talking literally the worst marshmallow you've ever had. Pump it full of banana flavoring. Make it like some weird fluorescent orange color and shape it like a peanut. That's what we're talking about. It is awful.
It also has it's not even like a Peeps texture or anything. Like it's marshmallow candy, but it doesn't even have the texture of a marshmallow. Like it's hard, and then you bite into it, and then you kind of get it. But it's almost like they let it sit out for a while.
Yes.
It's like stale marshmallow, and the more and more I talk about this, I think the more, as much as, I mean, you bite into a Necco wafer, it shatters into a million pieces, which makes it hard to spit out. It dries your mouth out instantly, and then that tastes like both of these stay with you, right? But I think you do make a good point that you can spit out a Necco wafer or swallow it if you had to. Circus peanuts, you're gonna have to chew it because it's a marshmallow, a stale marshmallow at that. So I think all that considered, I think as much as I despise Necco wafers, we're gonna have to move circus peanuts on to the final round.
I'm gonna say before we do this, and I totally agree. I mean, it's just like the commitment to a Necco wafer is just slightly a little bit less than a circus peanut. That's the only reason it's going on.
Yeah,
I wholeheartedly agree that both of this should have been the final matchup.
Yeah,
Necco wafers is much worse than Good and Plenty and wax Coke bottles. I would much rather eat both of those than a circus peanut or a Necco wafer. Even black licorice, I would eat. I would eat a whole strip of black licorice before I eat a Necco wafer or circus peanut again. They're so bad.
Yeah,
They're legitimately bad.
Yeah, let's not get it twisted. This was the 101 matchup right here. So,
and sorry we ruined the finals because Good and Plenty never stood a chance.
No.
It never stood a chance against these behemoths of disgust. These titans of terrible.
These titans of terrible. That's exactly what they are. And then, yeah, I mean, obviously, like we just mentioned, Circus Peanuts is going to beat Good and Plenty by a landslide as far as being the worst Halloween candy. So, I mean, I guess all that being said, we can just recap the first top ones here. So, obviously, number 1, worst Circus Peanuts. Number 2, we're going to go Necco wafers, right?
100%.
Number 3, Good and Plenty. Number 4, wax cola bottles. Yeah, this was awful. I need to go throw up. And
I'm glad we did this on. I guess we get to lose weight from skipping lunch today because there's no way I'm eating after this. My stomach is gurgling, talking about all these things. I'm just like, ugh.
Yeah, we should put a care package together for Georgia when he gets back. We'll send them.
We'll pick the top 5.
One of each of the top 5. Yep.
Let's see what's our 5th gonna be.
So the 5th
between Tootsie Rolls, Pixie Sticks, Black Licorice, and Hot Tamales. I'm going Black Licorice. I think that's an easy 5. Yeah. So we'll get him some Black Licorice, some Good and Plenty's.
Wax cola bottles.
That's just cruel. Like, that's not even funny. That's just evil. It's like, oh, we got you a bunch of candy while you were gone, and then you get back to this. I'd be so offended. I'd be so mad.
Right? And that's the thing, too. It's like, if someone tells you, it's like, hey, I got you a gift basket of candy, like here. And then you see all these in there, you'd be like, are we actually friends? Do you hate me?
That's a friend. That's an enemy. That's a friendship over.
They weren't before. They are now.
That's a clear declaration of war if I've ever seen one. Look, if you hate somebody and you want to if you want to make it clear, like, hey, our friendship's over, give him a basket full of these, bro. That's definitely the way to do it.
Right. Yeah, nothing declares war like a circus peanut.
And also, look, hey, if you want to be the house that gets skipped on Halloween, if you're tired of trick-or-treaters showing up at your door, we just gave you the blueprint to success.
Especially if you want to take the time to get a bunch of good candy, eat it yourself, but save all the packaging, and then you put all of these into the packaging. Like, can you imagine opening up like a Reese's cup or something, and there's just Necco wafers in there waiting for you? That'd be worse than a razor blade in the package, I think. So
absolutely, that'd be worse than poisoned pixie sticks. You know what I mean? Like, put arsenic in a Snickers. At least let me die happy. You know what I mean? Like don't put a Necco wafer. Like, you want to talk about evil? Like I said, evil leaving that basket. That's pure evil. That's some diabolical. Like, that should be a war crime. That should be a war crime.
Circus peanuts are a war crime.
Yeah, absolutely, a crime to humanity. That's all they are.
All right. Well, we'll wrap it up here. You got any closing thoughts for us?
Well, that does it. I mean, that is the quintessential list of the worst Halloween candies by us. I mean, realistically, the worst candies in general. Yep. I mean, I don't think it gets much worse than those. Obviously a few that we mentioned that should have been on the list, like Runts. If you guys know any that you think of, they're like, oh, this candy's gross, you guys forgot that. Or if you were surprised by any of our picks, if you're a lover of candy corn, even though candy corn got a pass, if you're asking me.
If you're a lover of candy corn. If any one of you actually enjoys circus peanuts, we need to know.
Absolutely. We need to meet you. We need to have you on the show. We need to talk to you. If you love circus peanuts, please leave us a comment. We are looking for you. We are going to find you.
And just know,
we're going to ask you some questions.
If you come out and you want to be on the show claiming that you love circus peanuts, I expect you fully to eat a whole bag while we record. Yeah,
you got to eat at least one on camera because we got to be able to prove verifiably that you're not pulling our leg.
And visibly look like you enjoy it.
Yeah, right. No, you can't throw up. You got to stay out of the bathroom for at least 30 minutes.
I can see it now. Somebody is gonna dare us to eat a circus peanut on camera here, and I don't know if I can do it. Just be honest. So,
I mean, hey, it depends on what's involved. I mean, if we're talking money, hey, Maybe. Well, we can discuss.
We'll work through that artificial banana marshmallow flavor for a few bucks.
Hey, $20 is $20. You know what I mean?
That's right. All right. Well, that does it here for us at Bropinions Day. That's your worst Halloween candy. Like Nikki P said, let us know what we missed if you were surprised by any of our picks and what we left off. And yeah, other than that, we'll wait for Georgia to come back. We'll have another analytical episode for you on Tuesday, recapping the NFL Combine and talking about our favorite NFL rookies incoming. And
yeah, if you're watching us on YouTube, give us a like, thumbs up, give us a comment, hit those bell icons, give us a subscribe, please, if you enjoy the content. If you're on Spotify, make sure you're subscribed to us on there. Make sure you're following us, and make sure you don't miss an episode.
Yep, 100%. Same with Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, pretty much
anywhere you get your podcast.
Yeah, that's right. All right, that does it for us here. Until next time, we're out.
Signing off.